Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Or rather, this is Geeky Sparkles. Neon's here too. That's okay. That's okay. She did a good job over the weekend. We're going to talk about Disney. We've got another daily dose of dismal Disney for you, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of backlash because there always is because prices are going up.
Oh, this is ridiculous. I mean, I'm even like, what the fudge?
What the fudge?
Yeah.
We're going to open...
We're
going to open a shop sometime and call it What the Fudge.
There you go.
What the fudge? And you just have to guess what the flavor is based on the color. Like, what's the lime green one? I don't know. What the fudge? You buy it, you find out.
That's right.
Yeah, so let's talk about Disney jacking prices again. Right before Christmas, too. Chapek is the Grinch. They have Grinchmas and Universal, and he's the Grinch.
Scrooge, but okay. Grinch works too.
Scrooge, the Grinch, whatever. Anyway, let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Almost 277,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. More people subscribe to you than they did to me.
For real?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Anyway.
We're going to talk about that, but first, only 25 beautiful, bubbly Steve pouches.
They're fine. That's why there's so much.
Yeah, so these are made by Mama Sparkles. You can use it as a bag of holding. You can put a great many things inside this pouch as long as it fits 8.5 by 5 inches. Mm-hmm. So if you've got an item that is 8.5 by 5 inches, it'll probably fit in this bag of holding. It holds very little. I'm going to put a link in the comments. Check it out. That is handmade. They're very sturdy. And they're washable, and we'll sign them for you. Yeah, so let's talk about this. Disney's greed hits new heights ahead of holiday season.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. So what happened was this morning, they have announced that we'll go Disneyland first, that Disneyland was going to raise ticket prices again. Okay, so we have the Disney ticket prices going up. So they raised on those single day and multi-day tickets increases up to nearly 12%. And then they announced they were going to start changing the Genie Plus. Now, originally it was just Disneyland. People were like, oh, wow, they're raising it. Disneyland already pays more than Walt Disney World does for Genie Plus. But their annual pass holders get a discount on it there where you don't get a discount on it at Disney World. So they announced that they're going to jack that up as well. And the individual Lightning Lane prices are going to go up also, and it's going to depend on the day and the demand for that day. So like their ticket prices, which are all over the damn place, now depending on the day is how much you're going to pay for these options. It's getting more and more confusing, and it's stupid, and I'm so fucking tired of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are getting tired of it. I mean, it's just insane. Like, you can't even... The mental gymnastics you have to do to calculate how much your trip is actually going to cost. And I think they count on that. I think they're like... Well, we'll get you to the park with one price, but if you want to actually enjoy your time here, you're going to have to spend more.
Right. So it's getting ridiculous. And apparently it's not just like the Genie Plus and the ticket prices at Disneyland. Blog Mickey caught a bunch of price hikes and they put it up on their blog. For example, Savi's Workshop, that's the where you build your lightsaber. You know, the ones that are like the shitty lightsabers people complain about because they break and they're cheap ass.
Yeah.
Those ones. It was originally to $200, and then it went up to $220, and now it's up to about $250 for those cheap-ass lightsabers. Ridiculous. And then they said that the Build-A-Droid, they've jacked it up $20. So it's now, instead of $99, it's like $120. So it's $21, $120. And then we had the Create Your Own Moment, which is like your personal, private 20-minute photo session. It went from $79 to $100. And
what kind of photo session?
Not those kind of photo sessions. And then...
Flicky with Mickey?
No Flicky with Mickey. And then they raised some prices on food, and it's like most of these price increases aren't very steep, but they never are. It's just they keep adding up. Like Casey's Corners, Walt's Chili All Beef Footlong. Nothing to do with Flicky with Mickey. Hot Dog went up to 30 cents. Columbia Harbor House Fountain Beverages went up 30 cents. The chicken strips at Columbia Harbor House went up 20 cents. Crystal Palace, their sangria went up $1. Liberty Tree Spirit of 76 Cider Shandy went up 50 cents. Be Our Guest Enchanté Champagne was up $6. Take Us Bill Cheeseburger went up. It's already $8 for a cheeseburger. Now it's $8.50.
Oh my god!
And the Connections Eatery French Bistro Burger went up 79 cents.
So, and we know they'll go up in February again. They always jack up the prices in February, too.
Mm-hmm. So this is getting ridiculous. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it just keeps like a little bit here, a little bit there. I know when I cover like spirit jerseys and stuff, they used to be like $60. Now they're up to $75. Now they're creeping up on $85, depending if it's a festival one. It's $85 now for a flippin' sweatshirt. Not even a very nice one. I got holes in the first one I got after a few washes.
Anyway.
If you go out to the one here. So our one writer, John, covered this. And they're talking about, they were writing the Disneyland one when they got the announcement. So they just changed it and added it in. But yes, if you go here, go down. Okay, so Disneyland, it was $20. Now it's going to be $25 per person per day for your Genie Plus. Remember, this is a replacement for what was free on the Fast Passes before. And I hate to say it, but it does work because we used it. We were down there last time to see how it worked, and it does make your lines less. But unfortunately, people are starting to use it more and more, so those lines are getting full. So I think they're trying to see how high they can go. People will pay it before they hit the ceiling, and then make it more exclusive so the richies feel like they're getting something that the riffraff don't. So at Disney World, they're raising it also. Disney World prices on Genie Plus would be variable between the $15 a day it is now up to $22 a day.
What?
Depending on the day. Okay? And then the Lightning Lane prices are going up. I know, like, not on everything, but on some things, like I said, I think they said, like, the Rise of the Resistance could hit $20-some a day.
Oh, my God.
Per person for a Lightning Lane.
So, basically, whatever the most popular attraction is that day, we're going to charge the most.
Right. And the individual Lightning Lanes are when you pay just to ride one ride. So, you might pay... You know, it was like $15, I think, for Guardians of the Galaxy, for example. But if you want to ride that, that day and you want to make sure you get access, you don't have to wait in line, you might be paying, like, whatever they want to charge you that day per person to make sure you get to ride that one attraction that's not included in the Genie Plus.
And people will pay it. And I'll tell you why they're going to pay it. So I guess tell people, where I was down in Universal for a couple of days. I took the kids down to go do Halloween Horror Nights because they love Halloween Horror Nights. So I was gone for a couple of days. The lines at Universal this weekend were the worst I've ever seen. I mean, absolutely.
You also picked a 3-day weekend.
Yeah, it was a 3-day weekend, but Universal was... I can't speak to Disney. I guess people said Disney was really bad too. If there was an option, they didn't do any of the Harry Potter rides because we didn't have time to wait in line. We were only there 2 days, and they only had like 1 day in the parks. The other 2 nights would have been Halloween Horror Nights. If there was an option to pay like an extra $100 or whatever to get them on to that Hagrid coaster, I would have done it because we already had so much money sunk into.
I would have killed you if you paid $100 just to go on the Hagrid coaster.
Well, no, I'm saying it's a cost. Like, is it worth it to me to spend an extra $100 and get to go ride? I'm not talking per person. I'm talking like, everybody.
Still, that's insane.
Is it worth it to me to spend the time, if we're down here once and we already spent the money we spent to get down here, to save that time so we can go do a bunch of other stuff? And a lot of people are going to look at that and they're going to be like, yeah. But
a lot of people also can't afford that. No. We have gas prices going up and up. We have food prices, hitting record highs. I know natural gas in our area has doubled since last year in expense.
Oh yeah,
the cost is like up like 100% from last year. Medicines, everything is just going through the roof. People can't afford it. Then you have an impending, this recession coming. Inflation's out of control. People can't afford this shit. And now we're going to jack the prices of tickets and jack the prices of Genie Plus. It's bullshit. And it's Bob Chapek. And I guarantee you, it's a new quarter. So he's trying to get, we made money last time. Let's keep pushing and pushing until we get a ceiling on this. And then he's going to use it to keep his damn job.
Yeah.
It's basically Disney always been corporate, but now they're not even trying to hide behind Mickey anymore.
No, that's the difference. I mean, this is what we've said before. I mean, Disney...
Dastardly Disney difference.
The dastardly Disney difference. The difference before was it was worth the extra money that you paid to go to the hotels. Well, even, again, going to Universal this weekend, we stayed at like the Value Resort and the kids were like, this is nicer than a lot of the Disney hotels we were in. I'm like, yeah, and it costs like a third as much, but they were constantly cleaning things down. Everything was kept up well. Now that could be because they had, so many crowds coming through or whatever, but Disney is in a state of disrepair right now, and they're not really putting the money into upkeep, or they have a couple of new attractions, but we still have a giant hole in the middle of
basically
Epcot.
It's let's cut experiences, let's cut corners on what we're doing, but we're going to jack the price up. We're going to cut satisfaction, cut all this stuff, but then raise the price and everything else. It is absolute bullshit, and people are really tired of it. I'll tell you what, I'm even to the place where I'm like, if I don't go back, oh well.
I've been there with Disney. The only reason we went to Universal was because the kids, I've been promising them for 2 years to take them back.
We couldn't go last year because some stuff came up.
And then, of course, we had the pandemic. And I felt really bad because Pinky Boo really wanted to see the Beetlejuice house last year and we couldn't make it. So basically, I've been deferring going to Universal for like 2 years.
The only reason we went to Walt Disney World in the summer was because it was a family thing.
It was a family thing.
Needed to go to. But
I don't miss it. I don't. I used to go. I was there when we worked on the other blog, which I don't know if I'm even allowed to name check it, but probably once a month at least.
I will. It was Kingdom Insider.
Yeah.
Because we worked there. We pretty much built the damn thing. We can say it. What's she going to do?
Oh, nothing. Sherry lost a lawsuit. So, anyway. Yeah. So, when I was doing that, I was there, once a month, probably sometimes 2-3 times a month, sometimes, Florida, and then turn right around and go to California. And I was in the theme parks all the time. And it got tiresome, but I didn't hate it. And now it's just like, again, I look back, I'm like, well, if I had to do over again, I don't know. It's just,
I grew up going there and I love Walt Disney World, but I love it. But the last few times you're going, especially since they're making it so confusing, so convoluted, so effing structured, it's not even fun. It's just like the crowds are worse. The people that are there are more miserable because it's more difficult. You have to get up ridiculously early or stay up very late to buy your Genie Plus because you can't buy it ahead now. And then you have to go through all the hoops at exactly 7 o'clock in the morning if you want to get, a queue spot or a lightning lane for something. It makes you have to plan everything around these paid lightning lanes or whatever you can get. And it's just not fun. And the value's gone. There's no value. Yeah, the
value's gone.
What you're getting that's new is kind of like it's either rethemed stuff, like even the Tron coaster. It's the same thing that's over in Shanghai. Ratatouille is the same thing that's over in Disneyland Paris. There's very little in the way of new things. Guardians of the Galaxy was new, and the Cosmic Rewind is definitely worth paying. That's what I will say pay Lightning Lane for because it's really good.
Well, that's what I was talking about with Hagrid's. If there was an option to do that for Hagrid's, which I don't think Universal had, you could buy the Express Pass, but I don't think it worked on Hagrid's.
No, they won't let you use it on that one.
Just because of the time sink, it makes me cringe thinking about spending the extra, but I'm like, if it was the difference between saving the rest of my day and getting on the ride, not getting on the ride, I would choose getting on the ride, which is what they're doing. They're basically forcing you to make a choice. So for your $100 and whatever to get in the gate, you could just kick around the park and you get to do what you get to do, whatever you have time for, or for an extra $100 and some, you can actually do what you thought you were going to do.
You have to, though, because the way that this is working out, it's making the lines. Someone, I don't have it in front of me. Somebody caught a sheet that was given to one of the cast members it's like Fast Pass, if you've ever used it before. So many people with Fast Passes would get to go through for every person that didn't have one. And on peak seasons, it was like 60 people get to go through a line for every a family of 4 with a regular line. So for every 4 people in regular line, 60 Lightning Lane Genie Plus people got to go through. So it's really, it actually is creating longer lines. It's actually creating more havoc because they want you to have to pay that. But for some people, it's a choice between, okay, do I want to pay this extra money to get on this line and not wait here for 2 hours? Or do I want to, have money to go buy food for the day?
Yeah.
Or do I want to go home and buy groceries when you can literally go to one of the sit-down restaurants or buy a week's worth of groceries?
Yeah.
Which are you going to choose?
That's where it's ridiculous. Because it used to be that you did get your money's worth for the, $50 to $100, whatever the tickets were for the longest time, right? And I remember when I was a kid, we used to go. Now I went to Disneyland a lot more than I went to Disney World. I didn't go to Disney World at all when I was a kid. I went to Disneyland because we lived in California. But it was $25 a person. I think when we used to go, about $25 a person, and you went in with the expectation, even during the busy times, that you probably would get to ride everything because that was before Fast Passes. That was before.
Those actually slow it down.
Yeah, they slow it down. You just got in line, you waited. And sometimes the waits would be like an hour or whatever, but you would go in the morning and they didn't have as many attractions. This is before California Adventure was open. So you would do your duty and just wait in line like everybody else, and you'd get to ride pretty much everything you wanted to. You just had to wait. You had to wait.
And now these express things, I think, cause backups and everything else. Now, during the investor call, Chapek was like, well, only 50% of the guests are using Genie Plus. And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get that number actually down, because then those lines would be like exclusive. Like if you have to pay $50 a day is the cap, or whatever they decide to set it at. Because right now there's no cap as far as I know. If they want to raise it to $50, they probably could.
Yeah.
So $50 a day, let's say, is where they find that their cap is. Well, that's okay, because now only 10% of people use it, but they're making like 4 times what they were making before. Plus, Yeah. So it's absolute bullshit is what it is.
Yeah, and they're going to keep doing it because people are going to pay it. I mean, I keep thinking that like at some point we're going to hit peak Disney, peak theme park, and people aren't going to come. But I mean, you were telling me that Universal was slammed over, and Disney people were waiting 45 minutes for quick service.
Right, for their mobile order. Yeah. So, and the thing is, people are going to it's going to keep going up because people are going to keep going.
Yeah.
And a lot of people already were saying, "Oh, I'm gonna pay it. I'm gonna pay it." Well, good on you for being a dumbass. I don't know what else to tell you.
I think people pay it out of desperation. I think if you've already
I don't like Disney that much.
No, but I'm just saying, like, let's say you only do a Disney trip once every couple of years, or it's a family event or something, it's some big thing, and you've already got $5,000 or $6,000, plowed into this vacation, which people are like, oh, that's a lot. I'm like, no, that is actually a very mid Disney vacation these days. It used to be a whole family could go for like $2,000.
We've done it.
Yeah, we've done it, and that wasn't that long ago. But if you've already got that much money sunk into it, you probably be like, you know what? I'll just pay an extra $500 to $1,000 to make sure we can actually ride shit, because we're not coming back.
$500,000 is a lot of money.
It is, but I'm just saying, like, that's how they're getting people. Like, oh, yeah, you paid that much just to get down here, stay at the hotel and all that, but if you actually want to enjoy a ride, there's an upcharge.
Well, maybe the families from Denver are the smart ones because they only go every 5 years. But, it's getting to a place that, there are other places you can go on vacation, and you're not going to be gouged as much as Disney parks. And I've loved Disney parks my entire life, but I'm even like, what the literal hell? This is just Chapek trying to save his ass, keep his job in there, get raises. Oh, and then I was going to mention too, I saw the Ewok thing. You have the same people who think that, that the money they're charging for the Star Cruiser for 2 days is a value. And now they're starting to put all this Ewok holiday stuff out. I'm waiting, and mentioning Life Day, so I'm waiting for that to be the next thing, that they're going to somehow put this Life Day thing at the hotel. Because just the one jersey, the sweater at the top with the collar, $130 for that.
Oh my God.
And I'm an Ewok fan, I won't pay it. But my point is, they think that's a value. They were just going to Dish TV and Sling TV and demanding $1 billion because that's the demand for Disney. Chapek is using this whole demand for Disney bullshit to try to leverage ridiculous amounts of money. And as long as people keep giving it to him, he wins. If you want Chapek out of there, then you need to cut off the spending to Disney, because otherwise they're going to keep him there because he's making the money. You hate him, they love him.
That's it. I mean, that's all that matters to the board, is how much money, what are our profits.
The Borg. Basically, you said board, but I said Borg. Oh. That's what Disney is.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty much, it. They're going to look at the numbers. They're going to look at the profits, and they're going to be like, hey, Chapek's making record profits. It doesn't matter what the public perception of Disney is. And even Variety was like, yeah, Disney's brand is kind of damaged. It's not going to matter as long as people are spending money and people line up to give them their money. And it's so surreal, because, I mean, you can feel the hatred that Disney has for their audience. I mean, compared to other companies, they just, unless you're completely on board with everything they're doing, they actually do not like you very much. But they know you're still going to give them money. Mm-hmm. You're still going to give them money as long as you keep giving them money. They're gonna find the ceiling, the absolute ceiling on what you're willing to pay, and then
that's where they're going to leave it.
Yeah, and that's where they're going to leave it. And I can totally see a day when it's going to cost $200 plus to get into the parks, and another $200 to actually enjoy the parks. So $400 a day if you want to actually get to ride things, provided they're not broken down.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they're not putting the money into fixing things up, paying their cast members better, or finishing the giant effing hole in Epcot. No, they're getting around to it when they get to it. The money just goes to the bonuses and the shareholders. And
why should they? Why should they fix the giant hole in Epcot? Because they already cut the festival pavilion or whatever they're going to do. Why should they fix it? Because people still come. It's not like it's they're coming for the Guardians of the Galaxy coaster.
If you can get on.
They're coming to go drink around the world. Why should they fix it? They don't have to fix it. It's not impacting their attendance at all. And that's the mindset. Like, we said before, if Disney could get away with just having empty parks with, Instagram walls, no attractions because they cost a lot of money.
But stores you get to pay to shop at.
Pay $100 just to come in.
Literally did at Disneyland during the pandemic. You literally paid money for a ticket to get in to spend money at the stores and the restaurants. And I'm totally serious.
And people did it because they were so desperate for that hit at Disney that they did it. And that's it. They have no incentive to change. There's not going to be any incentive to change until people stop going to the parks, stop giving them money. They hit that ceiling. Even then, they might have fewer people going to the parks, but they're spending more per person, so they're going to view that as a win. Like, we have half as many people spending 3 times as much money.
We have record
profits per person, because now what used to cost $800 or $900 a person for a week now costs, $2,000, $3,000 per person per week for an experience is probably not as good as it was even 10 years ago.
Yeah,
so,
I can't in good conscience tell people to go.
No, not anymore. And in fact, I think Pete Werner was telling people not to go to Disney anymore, to pick Universal or other Orlando attractions, because at least they're still trying.
And most states have some places you can go: zoos, aquariums, theme parks. I would recommend, just doing that, going out to like national parks. There's a bunch of things you can do to have fun with your family that does not require giving Disney money.
It's interesting because, again, the kids and I had a lot of time to talk, but we were down there and we're like, man, it just seems like Universal's trying harder. I'm like, because they have to.
No, I will be fair. Universal's express passes are a lot more expensive.
Yes.
But you can use it on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Except for Hagrid's.
Except for Hagrid's. So the one attraction that's worth using it for. Now, what was interesting, though, we were at Horror Nights, and I didn't get the express passes at first because we were going to be there 2 nights. I'm like, well, between the 2 nights, we can get into all the houses, even if we have to wait. Because I think the movie Halloween wound up being like over an hour. It was like an hour and 20 minutes. It's still nothing compared to Stranger Things. But I'm like, well, we don't need it. And I was like, you know what? Let's get the pass. So I'm like, okay, fine. They had a kiosk. I'm like, let's just get the passes so we can do more houses so I don't feel like we got shortchanged. They're like, oh, yeah, we'll sell you an express pass, but it's only good from like 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. And it's like $111 per person for 3 hours. I'm like, hell no. Hell no, but it was ridiculously busy, so they could get it because people would be. They'd be like, I spent so much money to get down here. What's an extra $100?
Yeah, well, it's a lot to a lot of people.
It is a lot to a lot of people.
They have lost complete touch with reality.
Well, when they're charging $15 for a beer or a drink, it's like they've completely lost touch. I've seen them literally at Disney take like Seagram's wine coolers. You can buy a 4-pack here in Pennsylvania for like $6. They're charging $9 per bottle at Disney on property. They just basically take the 4-pack and break it up, and I'm like, oh my god!
And they got it at wholesale to begin with.
Yeah, they got wholesale.
They probably paid like $2 for it or $3 for it. And now it's $9 each.
Yep.
Anyway,
record profits.
Yeah.
Gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.